Hi, my name's James from Optimizing. Today we're interviewing Ben Stickland from Market Samurai Keyword Research Software. Check out the interview now.
Hey guys, great to be able to spend a little bit of time with you. My name's Ben. I'm one of the co-founders of Noble Samurai, the business that produces the Market Samurai product. As a company, Market Samurai is essentially I suppose it's best known as a keyword research tool and a market research tool. It also has some elements in it that actually facilitate some of the SEO process as well, but essentially that's the space that it's in. And yeah, it's been a hell of a ride actually. It's sort of gone well beyond our expectations. Our background prior to Samurai was running web development, and so we were doing keyword research using a range of tools and bits and pieces, and we'd written essentially a bunch of PHP scripts and Eugene, who's in many ways a lot of the brains behind it, had written them, and just for doing a lot of that stuff and a lot of those processes. And then I've got 2 minutes, I'll quickly sort of give the story. Basically what happened was Eugene, I own our web development business, and I'm a significant portion of the Samurai business. Eugene, who is our CEO and is quite brilliant, I'd been begging him for like 3 years to come and work for us, and he came to me and he said on the first day, he said, look, the reality is I'm going to leave to start my business one day. And I said, no problems, let's just do it together. And he did a great job systemising our web development business and got us some really good improvements in our operations. And so I sort of felt this degree of debt to him, and he'd been working on these scripts which were good, and were good just for 1 or 2 clients here, and essentially our premium clients. And he went away to a conference with Ed Dale, who we're all pretty good friends with, and he showed Ed what he'd been doing, and it was in May, and the next 30-day challenge was coming up in August, and Huge came back to me and said, and they said to him, look, if you can turn that into a software product, we'll roll it out, we'll make it a part of our challenge. And he came back to me and showed it to me, and I didn't believe in it. I thought it was a dog. I didn't think it was going to go anywhere, and I'm embarrassed to say that now, but that's the truth. But Huge, I felt a degree of debt to him, and he'd done a really good job in this space, and so I said, okay, what do you need? And he gave me a budget, and it was really fortuitous. We'd actually just had a bunch of really good things happen in the business, and we had some spare cash. And I think at the time he said he needed $75,000 as a, sort of to get the first beta out. And so I said, okay, let's do it. And we literally, we didn't screw any of our current clients, but we took no new client work, and we had guys, people were doing tag team programming. So in the weeks leading up to it, the month before, we had this sort of 10-week, 12-week period. We had a bed set up in the office. People would literally sleep here. Someone would sleep for 8 hours, get up, tag the next person. They'd code for 12 hours. We lost all track of day and night. I was buying people fresh underwear, toothpaste because they smelled. That's actually, it's sort of a funny story, but I hate that lifestyle. I don't want to live that way. But we had this hard day, to deliver on. And Eugene said to me he needed 75 grand, and I said okay, and I said we'll back it. And coming up to the line, we'd spent about 150, and I'm freaking out, thinking, geez, if I just got my money back, I'd be wrapped. You know what I mean? And we launched the thing, and it was taken up really well. It was as green as hell. Like literally, the training program, we'd know what we had to deliver. Like on day 14 of the training program, we'd be writing the code and delivering updates on like day 10 and 11. It was the analogy of the train with the little guy at the front of the train laying the tracks as the train's running over it. And come day 30 of the challenge, we put up a buy page. We had nobody knew, but the software had no way of expiring. Like there was no way we could force, there was no need for people to buy. But we just had literally just a rush of people purchase the thing. We had like half the people using it bought it. We had a 50% conversion rate. And yeah, it's the one time in my life I've looked at a bank account and thought, where the hell did that money come from? It's like, normally it's the exact opposite. Anyway, I digress, but that's the story. People looking to replace income, Ma and Pa looking to replace income online. It's certainly got a following. There's sort of a 10% of its user base, and the most intelligent questions often come out of SEO consultants. So there's a niche of SEO consultants that use it, but the core of our user base is internet entrepreneurs looking for opportunities online. It depends which phase of your project you're in. So, I mean, the whole purpose of keyword research is basically to lead you to run an experiment, to lead you to put a page up. And I don't care what tool you use, there is no notion of perfect keyword research. It's basically just a case of, instead of punting on 100 keywords and having 3 successes, you want to punt on 7 keywords and have 3 successes. It just narrows the odds, and it does that quite dramatically. So in a new site starting up, the most useful part is keyword research. And keyword research, there's kind of 2 parts. There's finding keywords, and there's the SEO competition module, which is analysing the front page of Google and saying, you know, realistically, okay, there might be 20,000 competitors, but what does the front page look like? How hard's that? And so that's the, early on in a website project, that's the most useful part. I spend, day to day, I actually do more in Rank Tracker, which is just a tool for analysing your rankings, and you know, if I'm running, which I do run SEO campaigns, it's the tool that I use day to day in that space. Most small businesses have really lousy optimization, like just horrible. And if you want an example of this, and this is not a Market Samurai thing, just go to Google, type in the word site : www.yourdomain.com, and see what Google will give you back as a list of the most important pages on your website. And you'll see when you look at it what the words that are on those pages, are they selling, are they repeated? Half the time they're the same thing, which means all your main pages are actually going for the same keywords. That happens 80% of the pages at the sites we look at. And so Market Samurai for the small business owner is really about understanding what a keyword is and where you can put it on your page, and just doing that work. And that is, when you've sort of gone through a little bit of a look at it, it's actually quite dull, basic work to do, but it's very good ROI. So. It is the fundamental flaw in our business model, in that essentially we extract data from a range of sources that change rapidly, and in some cases every 2 days. The way that we handle that, there's a process in software development called test-driven development, where you actually write a test before you write the piece of software. Last time I looked, which was 4 months ago, and it'd be a bigger number now, we had 2,200 automated tests, and we run those every hour, and when any one of those failed, all our developers get SMSs, and we go and fix it. Our initial thing was going to be something based around the word ninja, which is easier to spell. But the problem with ninjas, they were basically assassins. And so we wanted to do something in that vein, but we wanted to, samurai were actually, if you actually look at the genesis of it, they were actually people of real honour. They were incredibly well trained, they had breadth of training. They weren't just people who ran out with little stars and threw them at people's necks and killed them. They had a lot of honour about it. So, you know, without wanting to have tickets on ourselves and be arrogant, the internet marketing space is full of a lot of people who are fly-by-nighters, sell a product that works for 3 days, it falls over, they get their money and they run. And we wanted to be a little bit better than that and actually try and build something for the long term and try and create some value. So.